Welcome back to Solo Marvel Champion. Today is my Wave 5 favorite hero cards. This is Ghost Spider through SPDR suit. We'll start with Ghost Spider. She is a really fun hero in my opinion. She does have that Web Warrior trait. And her response, after you resolve an interrupt or responsibility on an event, ready Ghost Spider, limit once per phase. But that is a lot of fun. Many of her events are responses or interrupts. So Ghost Kick is a hero response. After you use a basic power, deal 6 damage to an enemy. Basic power, of course, could be a thwart, an attack, or a defense. So you could thwart for 1, which is a little underwhelming, but then play Ghost Kick. Or attack for 2 and play Ghost Kick. Or defend for 3 and play Ghost Kick. She does have a lot of fun cards. One of the cards that makes her so very good, on top of her ability, is the Web Bracelet. After you resolve an interrupt or response, that's the same trigger. Exhaust this to draw a card. That is super huge. I love that. But that's not my favorite card with Ghost Spider. My favorite card is actually Ticket to the Multiverse. This is a card I always want to see in my opening hand because it has 2 wild resources. And note that this isn't a resource, this is an upgrade card. So in your opening hand, you can use it to pay for just about anything. Web Bracelet is 2. These you're not going to be using while you're in Alter Ego because you have to be in Hero to use those. But anything else that you've put into the deck that costs 2 or more, you're going to be able to use Take It to the Multiverse to play. And then her Alter Ego action is either shuffle Take It to the Multiverse, Ticket to the Multiverse from your discard pile into your deck, or ready George Stacy. So turn 1, you use this to play something, and then shuffle it right back into your deck. But it gets better, because it's not just a double resource, it is a 3-cost upgrade. Action, remove it from the game, discard your hand, shuffle your discard pile into your deck, draw up your hand size, and ready each Ghost Spider card you control. Ghost Spider is a Ghost Spider card you control, as are her Web Bracelets. And these Web Bracelets are not once per phase, they're once per event. So readying them, you can use them again. What I love about this, though, is when you get down to a thin deck, normally you're going to shuffle your deck and you're going to get an extra encounter card. Well, one time in the game you can say, no, instead I'm going to remove this from the game, shuffle everything back up, draw more cards, and get to attack again, play some more events, etc. So I really love Ticket to the Multiverse for that. Now it does cost 3, but I'm fine with that. It costing 3 is not a big deal when it's going to give you, it's basically going to eliminate an encounter card for you. So that's my favorite card from Ghost Spider. Next, we're going to look at Spider-Man Miles Morales. 222 stat line is fantastic. He does have these 2 specials. Venom Blast, deal 2 damage to an enemy, stun that enemy. Spider Camouflage, give Spider-Man a tough, confuse an enemy. He is both a champion and a Web Warrior, which I think is fun because we do have some trait-locked cards in both of these factions, and he can play both of them at the same time, which is a lot of fun. Now, he does have some really fun cards. Swing In, remove 4 from a scheme. If you paid for it with mental, resolve Spider Camouflage. Web Shot, deal 4 to an enemy. If you paid for it with energy, resolve Venom Blast. These are actually both of my favorite cards in his kit. I have to pick one though, and I'm actually going to go with Swing In. Swing In is so good. Number 1, it's remove 4 threat for 2. That's fantastic. You can almost always pay mental for that because he does have web shooters. Web shooters you can exhaust, remove a counter, generate a wild. Okay, just say that's mental when you generate that. Now, I like Swing In a little more because even though I don't get the stun, I am going to get a tough, which isn't as good as a stun, but it's almost as good. You're still going to not take any damage from an attack. You're also going to confuse the villain, making it a little easier to flip down, and you're going to remove 4 threat. Flipping down is a lot of fun in Miles Morales for a few reasons. Number one, he has a recovery of 4, so that's nice. When you flip down, this is something I almost always forget. After you change to this form, shuffle 1 Spider-Man card from your discard pile into your deck, so it allows you to get a card back, on top of having a recovery of 4. But then, while you're in Alter Ego, you have a couple good supports. Jefferson Davis is okay, exhaust him, remove 1 threat from the scheme with the least threat. Doesn't do a whole lot of work, but it's still removing a threat. I don't mind that card. The one I love, though, is Genki Lee. Action, exhaust him, draw 1 card. You can do that even in hero form, but if you are in hero form, you have to also discard a card from your hand. So I love doing this in Alter Ego because you don't have to discard a card. So that confuse makes it easy to go down, take advantage of some of the stuff that you have going on when you're in Alter Ego. That's why I prefer Swing In over Web Shot. Next, we are going to look at Nova. Nova's a blast also. He does have the champion trait. 112 stat line isn't fantastic, but it's not bad either. Big thing on his hero side, after you use one of Nova's basic powers, ready Supernova Helmet. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. In Alter Ego, you can spend a resource of any type to get your Supernova Helmet, and if you paid for it with Wild, you get to put it into play instead. So that's huge. There are a lot of fun cards in his deck. I think a lot of people's favorite is going to be Unleash the Nova Force, and that's for good reason. It is a great card. Until the end of the round, each time Nova defeats an enemy or removes the last threat from a scheme, ready Nova and draw a card. That's huge when you have a lot of stuff going on the board. My favorite in his kit, though, is his helmet. And those are for some of the reasons I've already mentioned. You can always find it in Alter Ego. If you pay for it with Wild, you can get it right into play. In hero form, every time you thwart, attack, or defend, you get to ready this. So you're always getting to generate additional resources with it. But the kicker is these events that he has. Force Field, Projection, prevent 3 damage. If you paid for it with Wild, which his helmet generates, deal 3 damage. I love that. Light Speed, Flight. Double the number of Wild resources generated while paying for this card. That means your helmet can pay this 2 cost all on its own. Hero Action, remove 3 threat from a scheme. Finally, his attack event, Pot Shot. Again, double the Wild resources, so you can use your helmet just to pay this, just to play this. Hero Action, deal 4 damage to an enemy. So all of those things add up. There's a lot of synergy in there, and that's why I love Supernova Helmet. My favorite card by far in his kit, because you generate a lot of resources over time with this helmet. So in Nova, my favorite is Supernova Helmet. Next, we're going to come to Ironheart. She initially looked like it was going to be really hard to level up Ironheart, but she is actually really easy to level up. Action, remove 6 progress from Ironheart, ready her, swap her to version 2. Version 2, she gets a stat increase and a hand size increase. Now, remove 6, ready her, give her tough, and swap to version 3. Version 3, she gets another stat increase, another hand size increase, And now her hero action is remove 1 progress counter, deal 2 damage to an enemy. So no matter what form you're in, you still want to be building counters on Ironheart. Now, she also has some really fun cards. Flyover, Photon Beam. New and improved can be good later, like when you are at stage 3 or level 3. New and improved is very good. It's good when you're at level 2, and for the cost, it's not really good, in my opinion, at level 1. She does have a fun support here, Tony Stark AI. Exhaust Tony, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, add 1 to your hand and discard the other. Of course, this is looking at cards, so when this 1 card is discarded, it is discarded from the top of your deck. That matters for cards like White Fox, like Digging Deep. So just like Tony Stark's Futurist ability, this can pop off those cards as well. Not my favorite though. My favorite card with Ironheart is actually a resource card. And this is the first time I've used a resource card as my favorite card. After you spend this card, place 1 progress counter on your identity, something you always want to be doing anyway, and draw a card. So you can turn this resource, and there are 2 of them, turn this resource into a counter and another card and help pay for something. I think that's genius. I love special resources in hero kits. I love this card. Stroke of Genius, my favorite card in Ironheart. Now we're going to come to Peter Porker, Spider-Ham. He kind of took everyone by surprise. He was a April 1st or an April 1st, April Fool's Day reveal on Fantasy Flight Games, and then he still became the hero that came out. So some people like him, some people don't because of this cartoon aspect of him. It is a little cartoony at times, but he is still a lot of fun to play. He's got this great response. After he takes any amount of damage, place 1 tune counter on him. And of course, tune counters can be spent as wild resources. So anytime you have cards with specific resource needs, Spider-Ham is going to be able to play them with no problem at all. He also has some really fun events. Petulant Pig, stick your tongue out, and I never do that. The villain attacks you, draw 3 cards. That is exactly like Taunt, except you can use something like, where did it go? Cartoon Physics. When he would take any amount of damage, discard this, prevent all but 1 of that. And all but 1 is key because you still want him taking damage to put another tune counter on him. My favorite card with him, though, because I love canceling what the villain is trying to do, is I don't think so. Hero Interrupt. When you would reveal a card from the encounter deck, remove a tune counter, say I don't think so in your best Spider-Ham voice. Of course, I never do that. Cancel the effects of that card and discard it. That means this can be any card. This does not have to be a treachery. It could be your obligation. It could be a minion that you really don't want to see. Just cancel it and discard it. I love this card, so powerful. There's only 1 of these in his deck, so when I see it, I love absolutely to see it. And I don't like holding on to cards, so unless the encounter card that comes out is just really nothing, does nothing at all, I'm going to use this card when I have it, because I don't want to hold on to it. But that's my favorite in Spider-Ham. I don't think so. We're going to finish up with SPDR Suit. I just finished my run of... I was going to say Mutant Genesis. It's not Mutant Genesis. Sinister Motives with SPDR Suit. Had a disastrous final encounter, but it was still fun. 222, great stat line, especially when you consider with her upgrades, you can turn those into even higher stats. Psychic Link, +2 thwart when she thwarts. Speed Metal Ally, +2 defense. Alloy, not ally. Web Fluid Compressor, +2 attack. So that could be 4s, depending on, you know, which upgrades you have out. She is a lot of fun to play. She's a little more complicated than others, primarily because she has this hand size of 3. Now that's not bad because all of those upgrades also count as resource generators. The only problem is, with a hand size of 3, you just have fewer options. You see fewer cards. So my favorite card helps with that a little bit. That's All Systems Go. I like it so much because it's modal. You can either ready each interface you control, which gives you access to more resources, or search your deck for an interface added to your hand, deck or discard pile. So in the early game, you want to be searching out your interfaces. In the late game, you want to be readying all of those. One of them, her host spider, also readies you. So anytime you can ready a card like this, it's going to be nice. So that's my favorite in SPDR suit, All Systems Go. Very powerful card, and like I said, it's modal. Early game, search for an interface. Late game, ready your interfaces. Very good card and a very good hero. So those are my picks for Wave 5. I've got Ticket to the Multiverse, Swing In, Supernova Helmet, Stroke of Genius, I Don't Think So, and All Systems Go. Let me know what your favorites are from this wave. Let me know what your favorite heroes are from this wave as well. I have played and had a lot of fun with all 6 of these heroes, and that is not something I can say for every wave. So this was a very, very fun wave for me. So just let me know which your favorite hero is, which your favorite cards are in those heroes. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a marvelous day.